ancient kingdom of Zoruba, nestled along the lush banks of the mighty river Nile, there lived a wise and benevolent king named Adu. The kingdom was known far and wide for its wealth, culture, and the beauty of its princess, Amina. Men from all corners of the realm dreamed of winning her heart, for not only was she beautiful, but she was also known for her intelligence. Kofi, a humble fisherman from the village of Bikongo, had heard tales of Princess Amina's grace and beauty. Though his means were meager and his status lowly, he believed that a man should be judged by the strength of his heart rather than his riches. Kofi was determined to try his luck in winning the princess's affection. The king, desiring to find a worthy suitor for his daughter, had devised a series of tests to determine the purity and courage of the men who sought her hand. These trials were grueling and designed to test the mettle of the strongest and bravest in the land. Many noblemen, warriors, and merchants had come to try their luck, but all had failed. Kofi knew the challenges would be daunting, but he resolved to face them with a courageous heart. The first trial required the suitors to bring forth a rare and magical flower that only bloomed on the highest peak of Mount Inaru. Many had failed this task, either due to the treacherous climb or the dangerous beasts that guarded the flower. Undeterred, Kofi set out on his journey, navigating through the dense forests and scaling the perilous cliffs. After days of hardship, he reached the peak and carefully plucked the glowing flower. With the prize in hand, he returned to the palace, weary but triumphant. The second trial was a test of wisdom and compassion. The suitors were presented with a series of riddles and moral dilemmas, while many struggled to answer the questions or made choices that revealed their selfishness. Kofi spoke with clarity and empathy. He showed that he valued the welfare of others over his own gain, impressing the king. Having passed all the trials, Kofi stood beside Princess Amina. The king announced that Kofi had proven himself to be the most worthy suitor, not only through his strength and intelligence, but also through his compassion and humility. The kingdom rejoiced, and Kofi's humble origins were celebrated. However, Kofi soon discovered that winning the trials was only part of the journey. The court was rife with jealousy and intrigue. Noblemen who had failed in the trials plotted against him, whispering to the king that a commoner could never truly be fit for the throne. They sought to undermine his achievements and tarnish his reputation. One fateful day, a group of these disgruntled nobles accused Kofi of cheating and dubious during the trials. The king, though skeptical, was bound by the laws of the land to investigate the matter. In the ensuing trial, the nobles produced false witnesses and fabricated evidence. Adu was convinced, and then he came to a conclusion. Princess Amina, believing in Kofi's innocence, pleaded with her father to see the truth. She spoke passionately about Kofi's courage, kindness, and the purity of his heart. Despite her pleas, the pressure from the nobles was immense. The king, torn between his duty and his love for his daughter, ultimately decreed that Kofi should be executed immediately. Heartbroken but resolute, Kofi accepted his fate. He bid a tearful farewell to Amina, promising to love her even while he is dead. Amina cried every day, wishing she wasn't a princess, or she didn't have to be the reason why Kofi would lose his life. After several pleas, Adu firmly told Amina there was nothing he could do. He is the king and he can't go back on his words. Amina soon figured her father won't change his decision. She decided to die alongside Kofi, praying to the gods for a safe journey to the afterlife with tears in her eyes. The day of the execution arrived, and Kofi was escorted by the native guards to the town square, his hands bound, with a somber expression. Amina took the pills and drifted off to sleep. She knew that Kofi will be executed soon, so she decided to also leave at the same time. Just as Kofi was about to be executed, a sudden commotion arose. A loud cry was heard from the palace. Adu found Amina laying dead on her bed. He sat beside her, calling the palace native doctor, but it was too late. While still sitting beside Amina's body, Adu thought of when she was younger, and he would pay her to sleep. He has never for once thought she would try to take her life. Adu was furious and regretted not listening to Amina. He blames himself for the death of his daughter. The whole village was in despair. They couldn't believe she had taken her life because of a low-life fisherman, Kofi. Adu decided to release Kofi and pronounced him free. He thought that would have been Amina's wish and her plea after all. Kofi was informed about his freedom and the death of Amina. He walked away into the forest in fear and sadness, promising to keep her in his heart forever. Amina is still patiently waiting for Kofi in the afterlife, who will tell her